New York City, the capital of the world, and just across the Hudson River, MetLife Stadium, capacity 82,500, home of the NFL's Giants and Jets, one of the most visited stadiums on the planet. No roof, no retractable field, just raw open air intensity in the shadow of the greatest city on earth. MetLife was chosen to host the 2026 World Cup final, the single most watched sporting event in human history. On July 19th, 2026, two nations will clash here for football's ultimate prize. The last time a World Cup final was played on American soil was 1994 at the Rose Bowl. 32 years later, New York gets its moment, and the world will be watching. Los Angeles, sun, money, glamour. SoFi Stadium looks less like a sports venue and more like a spaceship that landed in Southern California. Built at a cost of $5.5 billion, making it the most expensive stadium ever constructed in human history. The translucent roof, the open air design, the indoor outdoor hybrid that keeps LA's perfect weather flowing through every seat. This stadium hosted Super Bowl 56 in 2022. It hosted the college football playoff. It will host the 2028 Olympics and now the World Cup. Hollywood doesn't do anything small, and neither does the stadium. Everything really is bigger in Texas. AT&T Stadium, nicknamed Jerry's World after Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, is one of the most jaw-dropping sports facilities ever built. Capacity 80,000, expandable to 105,000. The retractable roof spans 660,800 square feet. The center hung video board stretches 160 feet wide, the largest in the world when it opened. This stadium cost $1.3 billion to build in 2009. The Cowboys don't do modesty. In a state where football is a religion, the World Cup arriving here feels almost biblical. Texas football culture is loud, proud, and unapologetically massive. The beautiful game just found its biggest American stage yet. Silicon Valley has always been about building the future, and Levi Stadium is no different. Home of the San Francisco 49ers, capacity 68,500. What makes it remarkable isn't just the architecture, it's the technology baked into every square inch. Over 1,700 miles of fiber optic cable, a green roof made of native plants, solar panels generating enough power to run every home game for free. This is a smart stadium in the smartest city in America. The Bay Area's football passion is growing fast, and with Football World Cup coming to Silicon Valley, the future just got a lot more exciting. Seattle doesn't just love football, Seattle lives it. Lumen Field, home of the Seattle Sounders, one of the loudest, most passionate soccer supporter cultures in all of North America. Capacity 69,000. The stadium is specifically designed to trap crowd noise, creating a wall of sound that has physically disoriented opposing players. The Sounders have won MLS Cup. They've competed in the CONCACAF Champions League final. The soccer culture here is already world class. The rain, the mist, the green hills in the background. When the World Cup comes to Seattle, it won't just feel like a football match, it'll feel like something ancient. For 15 consecutive years, Arrowhead Stadium has been measured as the loudest outdoor stadium on earth. Multiple Guinness World Records, 76,416 screaming fans, a noise level that has touched 142 decibels. Home of the Kansas City Chiefs, the NFL's current dynasty. But what most people don't know is that Kansas City has a deep, genuine football soul. Sporting KC is one of MLS's most decorated clubs. The city's fans don't attend games, they become the game. When the World Cup brings the world's best players to Arrowhead, the noise will break records all over again. 1 mile above sea level. That's not a marketing slogan. That's a strategic nightmare for every team that plays here. Empower Field at Mile High, Denver, Colorado. Capacity 76,125. The altitude of the stadium measurably affects physical performance. Lungs work harder, legs tire faster, balls travel further. The Rocky Mountains frame the stadium's western horizon like a painting no architect can ever replicate. Colorado's soccer culture has grown exponentially. The Colorado Rapids, a passionate, outdoorsy fan base that embraces everything athletic. At the World Cup, altitude won't be a talking point, it'll be a weapon. Houston is the most ethnically diverse city in the United States, and NRG Stadium sits at the heart of it. Capacity 72,220. A fully retractable roof, crucial in a city where summer heat reaches dangerous levels. Houston's Latino community is enormous, vibrant, and obsessed with football. This isn't just a World Cup host city, this is a World Cup home. When Mexico or a South American nation plays in Houston, the energy inside NRG will feel less like a neutral venue and more like a home stadium. That atmosphere, unscripted, uncontrollable, unforgettable. Orlando might surprise you. Camping World Stadium, capacity 65,000. This open air venue sits in the heart of Florida, the state that welcomes more international visitors per year than almost any other on Earth. The FIFA World Cup coming to Orlando means fans from Europe, Africa, Asia, and the Americas will land at one of the world's busiest tourism hubs and walk directly into football history. The heat is brutal, the humidity is relentless, and the matches played here will test every athlete's physical limits under the Florida sun. Football's always had a theatrical side. Orlando will deliver the drama. Philadelphia doesn't do polite. Lincoln Financial Field, home of the Philadelphia Eagles, capacity 69,800. Philly sports fans are among the most notoriously passionate and brutally honest in American history. They booed Santa Claus, they cheered opposing injuries, they're feared across every sport, but they also show up every single time. The city of Rocky Balboa, the city of the underdog who wins anyway. When the World Cup comes to Philly, the atmosphere will be electric, raw, and completely unfiltered. Exactly how football should feel. New England, the region that gave America its revolutionary spirit and one of the NFL's most dominant dynasties. Gillette Stadium, home of the New England Patriots. Capacity 65,878. Boston's soccer scene has surged in recent years. The New England Revolution, a growing, educated fan base that understands the tactical nuances of the game. Gillette sits between Boston and Providence, drawing from one of the most densely populated sports craze corridors in the country. It may be one of the smaller venues on this list, but in football, the scoreboard never lies. Vancouver, Canada. Snow capped mountains, Pacific Ocean, one of the most beautiful cities on the planet. And BC Place, Canada's largest stadium, sitting right in the middle of it. Capacity 54,500, expandable to 59,000 with temporary seating. BC Place has the world's largest cable supported retractable roof, a breathtaking structure that transforms the skyline when it opens. Vancouver hosted the 2010 Winter Olympics. It understands the weight of global sport. And with Canada co hosting its first ever World Cup, BC Place will carry the pride of an entire nation on its roof. Toronto, the most multicultural city in the world, where over 200 languages are spoken and every nation on earth has a community. BMO Field, Canada's premier soccer specific stadium, home of Toronto FC. Capacity approximately 45,000 with World Cup expansions. This is the sacred ground for Canadian football. Toronto FC supporters are among the most passionate in North America. When the World Cup lands in Toronto, it won't just be a global event. For hundreds of thousands of immigrants and first generation Canadians watching their home countries play, it'll be something deeply, profoundly personal. Stop. Before anything is said, the Azteca. There's no stadium on earth with a history like this one. Estadio Azteca, Mexico City, Mexico, capacity 87,500. It's the only stadium in history to have hosted two FIFA World Cup finals, 1970 and 1986. It's the stadium where Pele lifted the World Cup, where Diego Maradona scored both the hand of God and the goal of the century in the same match against England in 1986 in the same half. This stadium isn't just a venue, it's the spiritual home of world football. Sitting at 7,200 feet above sea level, the altitude alone has ended the dreams of countless international sides, and in 2026, the Azteca hosts World Cup matches again, becoming the first stadium ever to host three separate FIFA World Cups. The ghosts here don't haunt, they inspire. If the Azteca is football's past, Estadio Akron is its future. Home of Club Deportivo Guadalajara, known globally as Chivas, one of the most beloved clubs in Latin America. Capacity 49,850. Akron is a stunning modern stadium featuring a distinctive wave like roof design that looks like something between architecture and sculpture. Guadalajara is Mexico's second largest city, a city that lives and breathes football, where Chivas, a club that feels only Mexican players, represents national identity, not just sport. The World Cup here won't just be football, it'll be a celebration of what Mexico is. Monterrey, Mexico's industrial capital, the city that built the country's modern economy, and Estadio BBVA, arguably the most visually striking stadium in all of Latin America. Capacity 53,500. Completed in 2015, the stadium sits dramatically against the Cerro de la Silla mountain, a jagged, iconic peak that looms over the pitch like a colossus. The combination of stunning natural scenery, massive local passion, and ultra modern facilities makes Estadio BBVA one of the most photogenic venues in football history. Every camera angle here is a masterpiece. 16 stadiums, 3 nations, one World Cup. From the gleaming towers of SoFi to the ancient soul of the Azteca, from the screaming faithful of Arrowhead to the mountain framed drama of Estadio BBVA, from Toronto's mosaic of nations to the final whistle at MetLife, with the entire world holding its breath. This is the 2026 FIFA World Cup, the largest, the most ambitious, the most watched sporting event in human history. And somewhere in one of these stadiums, a player nobody has heard of yet will score a goal nobody will ever forget. A moment that will live for 100 years. The question isn't whether it will happen, the question is which stadium will be the one that history remembers.